betray, bohemian even. When you think about it, losing your name should be impossible because your name has been with you this whole time. When I was 13, I lost my name. Good morning, the audience, fellow contestants, and the judges. I am Shafa Amani of Global Prestasi School, and as you can hear from my last sentence, I do have a name. I've been called Shafa my whole life. When I lived my first 5 years here in Indonesia, I was Shafa. When my parents decided to up and leave all the way to Hong Kong, a foreign place where I was forced to habituate myself, I was Shafa. When I made a name for myself, carried on with my studies, made new friends, I was still Shafa. When my parents decided that we had way enough of Hong Kong and that I was supposed to come back to a place I used to call home, yet seemed so foreign to me, I suddenly did not know what that name meant anymore. I lost my name. Frankly speaking, I did not know what I was doing here. I was falling behind in my studies. Trust me when I say this, that the curriculum here is way harder. I was falling behind on everything I thought I could excel in. I needed to find a constant, and quick. So I turned to one thing I knew how to do best: reading. One book and one author in particular. Have any of you heard of Mitch Albom? Show of hands if you have. That's great to hear. Mitch Albom is most known for his book called Tuesdays with Morrie, which I assure you sits at the top of every bookshelf in every bookstore you go to. But the book that saved my life is not that popularized by the people, yet rather his debut book, The 5 People You Meet in Heaven. Now, I'm not really the type of person to challenge my spiritual being like that, but the 5 people you meet in heaven taught me 3 morals that took me out of the dark place I was in. First is faith. The main character, Eddie, had to go through an endless purgatory filled with his nightmares and encountering people he belittled and impacted him the most after he died. Honestly, I wouldn't know what I would do if I were in that position. I would break down. I would cry. It's like all my nightmares fabricated into one twisted reality. I would panic. But with Eddie's faith in himself and his God, he succeeded. He succeeded in finding the afterlife. The most notorious author, arguably, Victor Hugo, battled with the discussion of faith in his infamous book, Les Miserables. He said that faith is one of the most powerful weapons known to man. It's just a question of whether or not you will use that faith. And so with faith, I learned to be faithful to myself and have confidence in myself. For the second moral, I learned to be optimistic and positive. Now, Eddie might not look it at first. You wouldn't exactly associate optimism and positivity with Eddie. But as he meets more and more people, he becomes more and more optimistic and positive. I think it's such a wonderful thing that Mitch Albom focused his character development from turning to a negative person to somebody who actually looks forward and believes that he can reach the afterlife. Now, we all know the infamous saying, positivity or optimism is the most important thing. I digress. I don't agree with that. Optimism and positivity is not the most important thing, but you need optimism and positivity to succeed. And with that, I learned to be optimistic of my future here. I learned to be optimistic of making new friends and actually catching up with my studies. For the third moral, I learned to trust my family and my friends. Let me tell you this first and foremost, as a person who only trusted herself and herself only, trusting other people and letting other people in was the hardest obstacle of all. Because I believed in myself, and I believed that only I could make the right decisions. But that was a mistake. I learned from Eddie as he trusted his friends and family and the people who impacted him That sometimes it's okay to let your walls down. Sometimes it's okay to let them crumble, and sometimes it's okay to be weak and vulnerable. Sometimes it's okay to bare yourself to the world and believe in those around you. On balance, the book The 5 People You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom saved my life because of 3 reasons. First is its theme of faith. Second is its theme of optimism and positivity. And third is its theme of trusting my friends and my family. Let me introduce myself again, because first impressions are important after all. Hello, I am Shafa Amani. I love to read, I love to write, I love my friends and my family, I love studying, but most of all, I love myself. And I love the myself that is standing in front of you now. If there is one thing I can say to all those who are looking for their names, and my 13-year-old, naive, stupidly lost self, is that even if the world is horribly, horribly dark and seems like there's no place for you, there will always be a place for you to stay. Thank you.